Today I want to talk about shiny founder syndrome. Shiny founder syndrome is when a venture capitalist or any kind of investor gets enthralled with a particular kind of usually young man who seems to have their finger on the pulse of youth or technology or whatever and happens to be a really good talker. What happens with that is that if one VC or investor gets intrigued by this shiny founder, the way venture capitalists work is that they run in hordes, but they wait for a leader. So for example, in investments, in funding for early stage startup, they always wait for a lead investor and then everybody falls back into line. So what founders have to do is they have to go out and find a lot of people interested, and then one of them has to be the lead investor and sign the first check. All the other ones, everybody else is waiting for somebody else to take the first step and take the big risk, even though they're all in the same amount of risk once they all sign. The same thing is true with a startup founder becoming hot in investment circles. Charisma, a certain amount of mystery, a certain set of credentials, things that have nothing to do necessarily with the value or the validity of the idea of the startup can make a startup founder hot. And when that happens, the money comes. And if that startup founder doesn't have a lot of depth behind them technically or in a business sense, or anything else that it takes to run a startup, then what happens is that startup founder gets money, and money validates that the startup founder knows what he's doing in the startup founder's mind, which is a big problem. It's this catch-22 of a shiny founder attracting investors who attract more investors. The shininess has nothing to do with technical capacity or business acumen. But when you give someone money, like a couple $1 million for an idea they have, they're pretty sure they're right. So then they double down, they become sure that their brand new ideas about how to run a business or their brand new ideas about technology must be valid because they got the money from these big investors. And then they hire a team and drive them absolutely bonkers crazy because they don't actually know what they're doing. I don't know, maybe this is just a rant of mine. Maybe this is a great reason to look at underrepresented founders. Maybe this is a great reason to have executive coaches talk to the founders before you decide to invest in them. Because the ability of a founder to build a successful business is not at all indicated by that founder's level of shininess.